Before we begin season 2 of Think First, Jim and I wanted to bring back an earlier conversation that feels even more relevant now than when we first recorded it. AI is getting extraordinarily good at giving us answers, but our ability to determine which of those answers deserve to be believed isn't accelerating at the same rate. That gap between what technology can generate and what human judgment can responsibly verify is going to matter enormously in the years ahead. So before season 2 begins, here's another listen to When AI Answers Faster Than We Can Verify. Visit us at thnk1st.com, spelled THNK, think without the I, a reminder to step outside ourselves before deciding what to believe. You can also learn more about the broader work behind Think First at the M Institute, where we're focused on strengthening the habits, standards, and sources that support better human judgment in an age of accelerating information and artificial intelligence. That's institutem.org.
For most of human history, the problem was that truth was hard to find. Now, the problem is that deception is effortless, and the machines don't even have to mean it. Not because machines turned evil, but because we built systems that reward the version that performs best, truth optional. And when an answer arrives polished and pleasing, most people stop checking. Today, we name what's actually happening. Artificial intelligence produces essays, summaries, arguments, and advice in seconds. Clear, confident, convincing. But these systems predict patterns, not truth. Sometimes the result is accurate, sometimes it is beautifully wrong. Researchers call these mistakes hallucinations, a polite term for invention dressed as fact. The danger isn't just misinformation, it's plausibility. Humans trust explanations that sound coherent and confident, especially when they match what we already feel, and especially when they arrive instantly. In the AI age, plausibility now outruns verification. There was even a moment when an AI-generated answer suggested adding non-toxic glue to pizza sauce to help cheese stick. Confident, sourced, completely wrong. Some people tried it. Which tells you something important about human curiosity, because when an explanation feels complete, curiosity takes the day off. Artificial intelligence didn't simply introduce hallucinations. It introduced systems optimized to produce answers that perform well, clearer answers, more persuasive answers, more engaging answers. Accuracy is still valuable, but in competitive environments, attention, advertising, influence, the most successful answer is not always the most truthful one. There is a comforting story people tell about technology. More information makes us smarter. More knowledge leads to more truth. Better tools produce better understanding. It feels right. That's poetic truth, the version of a story that feels emotionally satisfying. But when poetic truth replaces verification, distortion quietly takes over. But history suggests something different. New communication technologies rarely eliminate confusion. They multiply it and then optimize for whatever spreads fastest. Printing press to religious wars, radio to propaganda, television to politics as theater. Social media leads to emotion before facts. Now, artificial intelligence introduces something new: automated narrative production. Machines generate explanations faster than humans verify them. Here's the part most people edit out. The real vulnerability isn't the machines, it's us. Humans prefer explanations that feel complete over questions that stay open. So ask 2 uncomfortable questions. Why does this explanation feel satisfying? And what discomfort disappears if we accept it without checking? Your ancestors worried about propaganda from governments. Your parents worried about propaganda from cable news. Your grandchildren may worry about propaganda from their homework helper that just confidently explained the moon landing was faked by dolphins. Progress. AI doesn't invent deception. It industrializes it. Not maliciously, structurally. Like when factories industrialized production. What once required effort now takes seconds. Discernment isn't refusing the tool. It's refusing to let the tool refuse uncertainty for you. For centuries, societies trained discernment, reflection, study, deliberate skepticism, the ability to pause before accepting an explanation. But modern culture quietly replaced discernment with speed. Speed of news, speed of reaction, speed of opinion. And now, answers arrive faster than skepticism can catch up. The next decade may reward a skill most people never practiced: choosing truth when deception is easy. That sounds simple. It isn't. Because the systems we built now produce answers instantly, confidently, and persuasively, whether they are correct or not. Technology can easily become a master unless we deliberately keep it as a servant. That requires something older than technology: attention, patience, moral courage, the courage to pause long enough to ask, is this true or just convincing? AI makes answers cheaper, so discernment is about to become expensive again. AI scales the answers. Humans must scale discernment. Civilizations don't collapse when machines become powerful, they collapse when people stop questioning the answers. So remember, one practical habit still matters more than people realize. Stay well-read.
Before we keep going with Jim, quick pause. If this episode feels familiar, that's not an accident. Distorted is the book version of this exact moment. Not about villains, not about secret plots, but about what happens when institutions stop explaining themselves and start managing perception instead. It's a guide to recognizing when trust the process quietly replaces accountability, when silence does more work than statements, and when reasonable questions start getting treated like disruptions. No manifestos, no megaphones, just patterns, incentives, and the uncomfortable parts everyone edits out. If you've ever thought, I'm not angry, I'm just not buying this, then that's the book. Pick up Distorted today. It's currently the #1 hot new release in communication and media studies, and a top 10 title in both media studies and politics on Amazon. All right, Jim, back to it.
The real skill of the AI age isn't generating faster answers. It's refusing answers that arrive too easily. Pause. That's the first step in the clarity framework. Curiosity before conclusion. Question the clean version. Ask where it actually came from. The future may not belong to the fastest prompter. It may belong to the calmest skeptic, the one who can still say, that sounds right, let me check anyway. One practical habit still matters more than people realize. Stay well-read. Books don't update themselves when the narrative changes, and they force something the digital world quietly erodes: slow thinking. And slow reading is one of the oldest training grounds for critical thinking. They anchor ideas in a fixed record that can be revisited, checked, and questioned years later. That's why historians and archivists still rely on printed records. They create a version of the past that can't quietly rewrite itself overnight. Artificial intelligence can gather information, but gathering information isn't the same thing as understanding evidence. Because evidence is not just information, it's information with a traceable origin. And truth requires something else: a reasoning trail you can follow. Because a confident answer is not the same thing as a verified one. Because when machines learn from the most common version of history, the most repeated story can start to look like the most accurate one. In a world of endlessly generated explanations, the written word becomes a reference point, something that existed before the latest algorithm summarized it for you. Because when facts and opinions start to blur, discernment becomes the only reliable compass. In the artificial intelligence age, information won't be scarce. Discernment will be. The information age is evolving quickly. Artificial intelligence, attention-shaping algorithms, and automation of both physical and cognitive work are beginning to define the landscape, which makes something quietly important: grounding what we accept as true in principles that don't change with the software update. Call it conscience. Call it inner discernment. Call it the quiet signal that tells you to slow down when something feels persuasive, but not quite right. In an age of automated answers, listening to that inner signal may become one of the last defenses against deception. Remember this: every age creates its own test of character. The artificial intelligence age will test our discernment. For centuries, truth was difficult to find. In the AI age, the harder discipline may be refusing answers that arrive too easily. Slow down, stay curious, verify before believing. That's the clarity framework in practice. Quick confession. If you've ever asked an AI a question, received a beautiful, confident explanation, and thought, yeah, that sounds about right, congratulations. You're participating in the largest philosophical experiment in human history. Don't worry, we all are. And if we're honest, most of us have had that moment where the answer sounds so polished, we almost don't want to question it. Because questioning takes effort, verification takes time, and certainty, even borrowed certainty, feels comfortable. But comfort has never been the best test of truth. So maybe the quiet habit worth keeping is simple. Read things that take time. Ask one more question than you plan to. And every once in a while, go back to the original source just to see what it actually says. Not because technology is bad, but because thinking still belongs to you. Anyway, keep carrying the match, just in case. You don't need all the answers, but you should question the ones you're handed. Until next time, stay skeptical, stay curious, and always think first.